Is it that bad? No, it's not. We would be very happy to see, of course, the unemployment rate be more even. It's now quite high, by the way, for young people. It's quite high for people who don't have a good education, but the aggregate unemployment rate is 5%. Wages have been rising for the past couple of years. Corporate profits are good. And so while we'd like GDP to be somewhat stronger than the current 2%, it's not horrible.
The acceleration in job creation, the unemployment rate, really the momentum around animal spirits, things are much better here than, certainly than the rhetoric, than what you hear in the political spectrum. But even when you're in a forum like this or you're talking to anybody, the economy here has done remarkably well. And many industries have repaired, including the financial sector, with balance sheets that are very strong relative to Europe, which still hasn't taken the pain, most of the financial institutions there. So the US is not just the best story around, but it's a pretty darn good story. And it's still not getting a lot of respect, in part because of the magnitude of the credit crisis and the fact that sentiment coming out of that has been so slow to return.
I think from our perspective, we focus on the industries of media and technology and telecoms, and a particular focus on the consumer, who seems to be pretty healthy right now, particularly given the economic growth and not only the jobs creation, but also the participation rate and the productivity around the jobs, which seems to be ticking up nicely. And with millennials coming into the workforce, and we employ a lot of them, it seems to be true. And I think effectively that underlying strength fundamentally gives us a lot of confidence in corporate earnings in our industries right now, in spite of what's happening broadly.
The structural issues here have been well discussed by people in the United States. We can spend more time on it later. The structural issues in Europe and Japan are dramatically more significant. Whether we're talking about very sluggish population growth, sluggish labor force growth, decades of inadequate long-term investment, and so on, there are enormous, enormous issues.
Abby said that you couldn't have an economy of that size grow at 12%. You can have an economy of that size grow at 6 or 7% every year. I think 6 or 7% going forward would be fantastic, and I don't think it's being achieved today. And I think it'll be very difficult for them to be at any kind of level like that as they start to make this transition from manufacturing to service, from export to consumer, and they're early in that stage. So given the size of China today, that's a problem for everybody. But one of the things that's happening in technology is that the jobs that technology companies are replacing are many fewer. So market value per employee at Walmart today is about $100,000. Market value of the company per employee at Facebook is $20 to $25 million per employee. It's a very different game as you shift from a manufacturing-based economy to an information technology-based economy. And this is part of the reason we have such inequality issues in this country, and they will continue to stretch.
Globalization often gets blamed, of course, for things that have nothing to do with it. It's simply technological change. Right? The jobs that Donald Trump wants to bring back from China aren't in China anymore. They're gone. Right? He can bring back jobs, no, not jobs, value added and profits to the US, but there'll be, if it's manufacturing, right, profits and value added produced by robots using artificial intelligence and a few highly skilled engineers and technologists. The traditional working class jobs are gone. So how are we going to respond to this? Well, globally, it's going to be very tough. But at a national level, active labor market policies, investment in people, capital and infrastructure, and a move towards a guaranteed minimum income for all.